Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Downshift. My name is Orest, and today we are starting out with the breaking news of the massive prototype spotting in Ohio. And afterwards, I will go into business as usual and discuss quite a few notable news stories. So, let's go. This video that many of you have most likely already seen is probably one of the best videos that I have seen on the new C8 variants. Hats off to David Wessel and Corvette blogger for this footage. Now, I'm not going to discuss this too long because there's already a few videos covering it, so this is just my quick take. FYI, I will also link the original video in the description. So, the beauty of this video begins with the fact that it's not filmed on a flip phone and you get incredible sound quality. While the cars are still heavily disguised, we are seeing some more details that only further excite us. Before I go any further, I'd like to state that we might just be looking at the Z06 and or ZR1. If you look closely, one prototype is different based on its exhaust placement. With that said, I believe this is the first time we are seeing what looks to be a full quad exhaust setup, similar to the C7 Z06 and ZR1, which I'm sure will please many of you C7 lovers. What we see again and again, those super wide tires with wheels that are still disguised. Also, the wider and more sporty rocker panels are visible yet again. Most importantly though, the feature that I personally love to see, we can distinctly make out some sort of spoiler or wing from the overhang of the rear deck. Your guess is as good as mine, but it's probably that active arrow we've been hearing about. It can definitely be a decoy, but I still think that it's the real deal. Returning to the topic of exhausts, as mentioned earlier, one of the test mules has a different setup from the group. This could potentially be a lone Z06 amongst ZR1s. I am, however, surprised that there are so many of these center exhaust prototypes because it might reflect the fact that the timelines for the reveal have not been impacted. Here is my final thought about the video though. This GM testing team is one lucky bunch. Driving Corvette prototypes must be one of the coolest jobs in the world, and where do I apply? Anyways, with that big kahuna of a story out of the way, we get into the other bits of news, which in themselves are quite noteworthy. So by now you're obviously aware that there are three new exterior colors that will be replacing Zeus Bronze, Sebring Orange, and Shadow Gray for the 2022 model year. What you may not know about is a newly introduced option, which is a low profile spoiler. The best part of this is that you can definitely add it on without selecting the Z51 package. And here comes the bang for buck part. If you select this option, it also includes a bonus front splitter. Talk about a good 2-for-1 deal, right? And the day that we actually got our C8, I remember talking about how badly this car needed a front splitter. So I can honestly say that it's greatly appreciated that you get both. Unfortunately, no pricing has been unveiled yet, so we will just have to wait and see. I would now like to quickly mention two specific stats that I cherry-picked on 2021 C8 builds. So almost 70% of buyers of the 2021 are opting for the Z51 package, which is definitely fantastic news. With that said, only 8% of buyers are taking advantage of the magnetic ride control, seeing as how it's a standalone package now, which seems like a very small percentage. And armed with this information, I want to address some of the comments on previous videos where viewers were irritated because there are some C8s which are currently being built specifically for export. Now, I understand that the wait times are lengthy, but I wanted to show you that for the 2021 model year, only 3.68% of the total cars built actually ended up being exported. And I'm quite certain that Canada is included in that figure. So if you thought that the aforementioned 8% figure of C8 customers opting for the standalone mag ride was a small number, then this is really just minuscule in comparison. I would also like to take this quick opportunity to wish Bowling Green a happy 40th anniversary. If you watch the 2021 Bash, all the information is on there. I have retained some interesting points that I want to share with you. There are a lot of new members to the Corvette family, so this is worthwhile. And even if you're an avid Corvette follower, these are some interesting facts to share with your friends. So, the first vehicle rolled off the line on June 1st, 1981. Take a guess at the price because it's pretty crazy. The price for the 1981 model was $16,259. But if you adjust that to today's dollars, taking into account inflation of course, that comes to $46,826, which is still a fantastic deal comparing to today's C8, which itself is a bargain, not to mention that these cars on the second-hand market are going for much more than MSRP. However, let's not forget that the 1981 Corvette had a 5.7-liter V8 and only put out 190 horsepower. The 0 to 60 time of that car was 7.6 seconds. And for that time, that was actually very quick. Coming full circle and to conclude, I want to discuss the 3 new colors. So I saved this as last because this already came out a few days ago, but it's still important and I do have details that you probably have overlooked. I will also show you the side-by-side comparisons of the incoming colors to the outgoing ones, and I do have to say that I am actually very impressed. Better yet, these photos are all taken under the sun, so you do get the full clarity. Here is the hypersonic gray, which looks lighter and reminiscent of a silver. Until you actually compare it to the silver, it then looks more like a gunmetal. The new Amplify Orange, on the other hand, is definitely lighter, but it is also not metallic, whereas the Sebring was. It's more of a pastel if you're into that look. The best comparison is that it has a very similar depth and wet look like the Rapid Blue, just obviously in orange. And I know that that color was pretty successful, so I foresee that this one will also do well. Finally, if you really like metallic, caffeine is the most metallic out of every other color option. Fun fact, there are 4 different kinds of metallic in this paint. There's gold, burgundy, silver. Let's just say they went out of their way to make it pop. So when the light hits it, it's definitely sure to impress. We only have 1 panel to currently show you, but once it's on a fully painted C8, it should be a huge attention grabber. I already know some of you may say that we need a lime green, or a cool purple, or maybe even another red, and believe me, I'm one of those people. But in the meantime, I would most likely go for one of these new color options if I were currently building a C8. While I wouldn't consider myself to be young, I'm probably on the younger side of the Corvette fanbase, and I would be over the moon with a caffeine painted C8. Sure, you're not flashy from hundreds of meters away, but it truly has that sparkle factor. Alright, so those are the updates that I have for you today. Apologies for the delay in making this video. I would have rather made it earlier, but I just wasn't able. With that said, let us know what you think about these prototypes. Do you think that these are all Z06 cars, or are they a mix of ZR1 and the Z06? There are differing views on this subject, so I'm always curious to hear from you. If you have enjoyed, then definitely give this video a like and do consider subscribing. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.